Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you a brand new series. You all know that all the what ifs on this channel is done by me. Yes guys, Anime King 3. This is not any link or anything, this is done by me personally. So yeah, sit back and enjoy. Part 1 of What If Naruto Had the Most Powerfulest Sharingan. If you enjoyed C1C Part 2 guys, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all the help and support. And also guys, remember to stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way over an Anime King and Anime King 2. That's right, I indeed have 3 channels if you're new. Yes, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3. Which I post out every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new series? Start the intro. We begin this episode with a small child. He was wearing a dark blue shirt, black pants. He had black hair that stopped right to the crook of his neck. As he was slowly making his way, he had a bundle of flowers in his arms. As he was moving toward the cemetery, arriving there, he slowly made his way towards the destination. As he stopped in front of a grave, the child kneeled down as he placed the flowers on the grave. "I came to visit you once again, Auntie Emiko," the boy said. He propped his arms up as leverage. "Let's see, where was the last part I left off? Well, things are going good, academy-wise. I've met several new friends, but most of them are too hyperactive for my taste. You always told me that I was a bit subdued for my age. But now I can see that the children are more hyperactive than I expected. But some of them I get along with quite well. But the academy is really not teaching me anything that I don't already know. As a matter of fact, I think it's a waste of time. But Uncle insists on me taking all the required years. He doesn't want me to graduate too early. He told me what's a rush. I should enjoy my childhood whenever I can. He's always telling me that. After what he's been through with the war and losing you, I kinda understand where he's coming from. But Dad is always insisting that I move up the ranks. But my uncle is against it so much, and it usually led to them arguing a lot. It's a good thing they haven't come to blows yet, because if they do, despite how strong my dad is, he doesn't stand a chance against Uncle. And I don't want him to really get hurt for my sake. But despite that, I don't want either of them to get hurt. But they're just on opposite sides of me graduating. Uncle always say what's the rush after all, the war is over. It's because of your effort and his, mostly. Other people are included, but you guys did a lot. And you paid the ultimate sacrifice, dying for your village. As I told you once before, that's shaking him a lot. I heard the rumors and the whispers all around the village about what he did. And I'm starting to get more and more worried. Mom, keep on telling me that he's gonna be fine. But he's never really got along with her that well. I know that they care for each other. But since they lost you, it's hard. I really wish that you were here. You were always the life of the party, the glue that kept us all together. And with your loss, things are getting worse. And I really miss you, the boy said, as he looked toward the stone. As he read Emiko Uchiha, he spoke to the memorial stone until he realized that it was getting late. "Well, I'll see you another time," he said, as he gave it a pat. "I hope you're having a wonderful time where you are." As he picked himself up, As he slowly made his way off, the small child exited the cemetery area as he entered onto the street of the Uchiha. Several Uchihas were locking up their stores as people were piling and moving aside, going home. The small boy was seen and greeted. He was the son of the clan head after all, and many people respected him. For a child, he was more adult than anyone else. His attitude, he didn't act like a child in any means necessary, given the fact that he was only 11 years old. It was just by the way that he was grown. He slowly made his way. As he turned off, he did not head towards the main house. Making his way towards a section of the Uchiha compound, there was a 2-story house there. As he arrived, it was separated from most of the houses as he slowly made his way. As he had gotten his own key to come whenever he wanted. As he pushed it in the lock and turned it, his uncle was already home, he could tell. As he entered inside, his nose caught the scent of food. A small smile came to his face. His uncle was the world's best cook, and no one could tell him otherwise. His mother was good, yes she was, but her cooking skills were nowhere in his uncle level. The small child slowly entered the kitchen as his uncle's back was turned to him, as he was dicing and chopping some things on the chopboard. The small child simply watched him without moving. His craft with the knife as he sliced and diced. The small boy was amazed. Itachi, it's not polite to just stare at people like that, you know. As a small child now known as Itachi, he was Itachi Uchiha, focused towards his uncle. Sorry, Uncle Naruto, he said. I was just amazed by how you handle that knife. I mean, I know that you are basically a master when it comes towards weapons, such as kunais, but how did you get this master over the knife? The small Itachi asked. The man known as Naruto finally turned as he faced the boy. He was wearing a black t-shirt, dark blue pants. His hair reached down into his back. His eyes were not really dark, they were more a bit on the silverish side, and his hair might look black, but when you place it under a light, you could see that it was dark red. If you stood there in the broad daylight, you wouldn't even know that it was dark red. You had to come close to notice. He looked towards his nephew as he gave him a small smile. Well, as he flicked the knife around his hand, as Itachi watched with awe as it moved around his uncle's hand with ease. If you practice enough, you can become a master at anything. As Itachi watches a small fly got in the house, as he realized he left the door open by mistake. As Naruto threw the knife, Itachi was amazed when the knife slicked the fly's wing off. Itachi reached out as the fly dropped right in his hand. Its wing were gone. The knife embedded into the wall. What have I told you about leaving the door open? Sorry, Uncle Naruto, Itachi said, as he quickly made his way, as he went and shut the door. He then came back. Hey, think you can teach me how to do that? Once you're ready to learn, I will. As Itachi pouted a bit. And when would that be, he asked. As Naruto came over and ruffled his hair. Don't push yourself so hard. You will know when time is right. Always with the cryptic answers, Itachi thought to himself. Sometimes his uncle never gave him a plain answer ever. But more than anyone else, he could let himself down around his uncle. As he could be a kid around his uncle. Well, his uncle wanted him to be a kid around him, and not be an adult like everyone expected him to be at his age. There was no rush, he always told him. Did you tell your mother you're coming over here? Itachi scratched his cheek. Not really. You know how she gets when you don't tell her things, Itachi. Well, as Itachi trailed off. What is it, Naruto asked, as he went back toward the kitchen. It's nothing. Come on now, Itachi. You know you can tell me anything, said Naruto. Well, she's gonna come looking for me. And then you guys can talk. Talk? About what? Itachi shrugged his shoulder. I don't really know. Just talk, perhaps. It's been a long while since you guys had a proper conversation. You know that you're the kid, right? You're not supposed to be worrying about these things. I know, it's just, as Naruto patted him on the head. Silencing him. I told you you're the kid. So go sit down and relax. I'll get you something to eat soon. Itachi smiled. You're not gonna bring me back? Not yet, but I will. Now go get yourself something to drink and sit down. Itachi nodded as he went to the fridge. There was some juice inside as he poured into a cup. As he made his way towards the couch. As he turned on television as he sat down. There was an old samurai movie going on. As he relaxed on the couch as he watched it, waiting for his uncle to finish. It didn't take long for there to be a knock on the door. As Naruto washed his hands, as he made his way, arriving at the door, he opened it. As there was two people there. One of them was a 4-year-old boy. Uncle Naruto, he said as he looked up. As Naruto gave the boy a small smile. How are you doing, Sasuke? He said. I'm okay, the small child said. Is big brother Itachi here? Yes, he's inside on the couch. Why don't you go and join him? The child ran off, as he didn't even look back towards his mother, making his way towards his brother. As Naruto heard something thud in the room, as he tilted his head behind the door. As Sasuke looked back at him a bit embarrassed as he picked himself up, as he had fallen, but he brushed it off and rushed towards his big brother. As Naruto then glanced up, as black eyes met silver eyes. As the woman standing there was none other than Mikoto Uchiha. As she looked towards her brother, the woman looked at him for a long moment, as she didn't say a word, but neither did Naruto as the both of them just looked at each other. Before Naruto picked himself up, as it showed that he was a fair bit taller than her, as he looked down on her. I take it that you're angry because Itachi never told you that he was coming over here, said Naruto. As Mikoto sighed, you're the reason he is like this, you know. And how so? Well, he's following you by example. As she looked at him, how have you been? I've been fine. What about you? Well, you would know who I've been if you had made it to any of the parties. If you had even bothered to visit once. I mean, for God's sake, we live in the same compound, and yet, it's like we're strangers. And you're my brother, she said. Do you want something to eat, said Naruto. Dinner is almost ready. Don't do that. Don't change the subject every time we're about to talk. So, coming in or not? Mikoto sighed. She knew there was no fight in it. If he didn't want to answer, he wouldn't answer you, no matter how hard you tried. She knew this for a long time now. Things had really changed after the Third Great Shinobi War. Things had changed that would never be recovered. Might as well, Fukaku is dealing with a meeting, she said. You know, you should really be there. As Naruto turned his back as he walked inside. As Mikoto sighed, she closed the door, she took off her shoes. As she made her way. Itachi? Itachi froze as he turned towards his mother. Oh, hey mom, he said. What have I told you about informing me before coming over here? The academy let out a long time ago, and yet you did not come home. Well, I just wanted to, speak to Uncle first before coming. I guess I got caught up in the movie. Sorry mom, he said. Mikoto sighed. Her eldest. A sweet, kind boy, he would never go out of his way to actually hurt a person. As she made her way inside, looking towards her youngest, as Sasuke was all over the place, moving around. Next time, if you're gonna do something like this, at least inform me, okay, she said. I will, mom, he said. As Sasuke came crashing down his brother's lap, jumping off the couch. As Mikoto heard Naruto chuckle a bit. What's so funny, she asked. Don't worry, just a thought. She sighed. Need any help? No, I'm almost done here. As he went away for a moment and returned back, with a glass of wine as he handed to her. My favorite. At least you remember that, she said. How could I forget? You know, dropping off a birthday present without even coming inside is rather disrespectful. A lot of people wanted to see you. As Naruto looked towards the window, before glancing back towards her. Like who? Well, for example, your friends. Do you want me to list out a few of them? Or have you forgotten their names? Shikaku, Inoichi, even Minato, with how busy he is, decided to stop by, and yet you couldn't even make it the time. Kushina was also there as well. She glanced towards her brother. She waited to see if she got a reaction of him. But there was nothing. As he opened the lid, as she smelled the heavenly food, if there was one thing that he could do, it was cook. Emiko was one to teach him after all. You know, you could offer to set the plate, said Naruto. And you could offer to talk to me and answer my questions when I ask you questions, she said to him. Are we really gonna do this, Naruto asked. She took a deep breath as she exhaled. Not in front of the kid, she thought to herself. As she moved, she went as she set the plates. As she knew that this would happen, she had already fed Sasuke, and she was gonna cook a home-cooked dinner for her and Itachi. But, knowing that he was over here, she knew that he was entitled to a big feast. And she figured, why not just come and enjoy a feast as well? Because when Itachi was over here, the door was never closed, and she could enter once Itachi was here. But other times, even while he was home, he chose to ignore everything. Or perhaps he wasn't there, sometimes she couldn't tell. As she set the plates, she glanced towards her youngest, who was already asleep, his head on Itachi's lap, as he had fell asleep watching a movie. She picked him up gently, as she brought him to the spare room that was there, where Itachi slept most time when he was over here. As she placed him down, she covered him with a blanket, as she placed a kiss on his forehead. She then came back out, as she set the 3 plates. As he shared the food, the aroma was just to die for. Mikoto glanced towards Naruto. How did you even know that I was coming? Or that I would stay and eat food with you? Well, perhaps I already knew about the meeting. And I know that you heard that Itachi was here. You wouldn't bother to cook, because you know I would be doing the cooking once he came. And even if I already started, I would add more portions for him. But knowing that you'd be here, I add a bit extra. You know me so well, yet you couldn't be here for my birthday, she said. I told you, I was busy, said Naruto. Yes, you're always busy, trying to avoid everyone. As she realized that 2 of them were looking at her. Sorry, let's just eat, she said. As that is what they did. Itachi hated the silence. They had been growing more and more distant. He couldn't tell the last time that his uncle came by his house. And whenever his mother came over here most times, he wasn't here, or he was but he did not answer. And that always angered his mother. He had left a present for her birthday, but he never entered the house. There was a party, but he never came in. And his friends were there, but he never bothered to stop by. As all of them eat in silence, they did not say a word, as they just eat calmly. Itachi brought up conversations here and there. They tried to get them to talk, more civil, but it was always ended when one of them said something, and the other one did not follow up on it. After a while he gave up. Perhaps he would try another time. After they were finished, Mikoto helped Naruto with the dishes. As Itachi was getting tired, as he went in the room, the bed was big enough for both him and Sasuke. As he ended up falling asleep in there, hoping that this would give him a chance to talk. As Mikoto looked inside, seeing that the 2 boys were asleep, as she then came back out. Well, they're asleep, she said. As it seemed like Naruto had 6th sense, as he knew what was coming, he moved to his side. As her empty palm that was about to strike him in the face swept past him, as Naruto stepped beside her, before he ducked, as she swung her hand around. She then brought her hand down to hit him right in the head, but Naruto stepped aside as he took one of the rags off the table. As he wiped his hand, he stepped back, dodging her fists. As he moved around to her back, cleaning his hand as he folded the cloth, as he ducked under her kick. As Naruto folded and placed it on the end of the table, before reaching his arm up and caught in hers, as he held on to her wrist. He then flipped her, as she was thrown, as she landed on the couch with a small groan. Asshole, she said, as she picked herself up. Let me hit you, as Naruto looked at her with a blank face. Why? You deserve it. Oh, do I now? Just because I miss your birthday party? Not just that, you asshole. After everything, so stand there and let me hit you. As Naruto extended his arms, she got back to her feet as she marched towards him, as she clenched her fists. This time he did not move, as she punched him across the face. As Naruto turned his head back to her, "You okay now?" he said. "Far from it," she said. She clenched her fist even tighter. "I'm trying." "Why can't you just try?" she asked him. As her entire body was shaking in anger. "What's the point?" Those few words that he said, they shocked her more than anything. She had knew a long time ago that he was on the verge of giving up. He had blew up his entire life, did things that could not be fixed. She sighed. "Have you really given up?" she asked. As Naruto stepped closer to her and poked her in the forehead, she slapped his hand away. "You know me, sister. Why don't you tell me?" he asked her. She looked into his eyes. There was nothing there. As she sat down on the couch handle, "It wasn't your fault." As Naruto laughed a bit, his voice was hollowed and dry. "You weren't there," he said. "After a while, you weren't the cause of their deaths. You're not responsible for Emiko's death." As Naruto gazed hardened as he looked towards her. But it did not stay so for so long. After a while, it just became blank. She clenched her fists. "Get angry, shout at me, do something. Don't just shut me out like that. I know you're famous for that ignorance of yours, but don't do it. Please," she said to him. "Why do you care?" said Naruto. "It's not like we ever got along in the beginning. Why do you suddenly care now?" "I realized I was a jerk. An asshole to you in the beginning. But I never knew how much you were suffering. And I played it off in my own grief. So now you want to fix things and make me feel better," said Naruto. "Well, perhaps the time has long passed. I don't believe that. You're my brother and we can start this out." As Naruto simply smiled, but there was no humor in his smile. As he placed a hand on her head. "Foolish little sister," he said. She gripped his wrist. As Naruto glanced back towards her. "Do you really think this is what Emiko would have wanted?" As this time his glare hardened more than she expected. "The dead can't tell you what they want. Let go of me." "No, not until you talk to me." "I said, let go of me," said Naruto. As she felt the ominous vibes coming from him. "What? Are you gonna hurt me? Strike me down? Or perhaps kill me?" she said, as her gaze hardened on his. Just as she said that, there was a thunder outside, followed by a strike. All the lamps in the room seemed to go off at that very moment, and his eyes activated. He did not have the normal Sharingan. His eyes were different, completely so. It was like a reverse. The red in his eyes were not there. Instead of the red, it was black. And the totem in his eyes that was supposed to be black was red, as they looked like they were bleeding. As those eyes had frightened her in the past, as she has never seen Sharingan like those before. But she was used to it by now. As her own normal Sharingan activated, as she looked into his eyes, unafraid. The light returned back on, as their eyes deactivated. As Naruto pulled his hand out of her grip, she knew that she couldn't hold on to him if he didn't want her to. As Naruto just looked at her calmly. "You should get some rest. My room is free," he said. "Blowing me off again, are you?" "I'll take the couch," he said. "I spoke to Kushina at the party," she said to him. "She's happy. Even after what you did to her, she's now happy. And I don't think there's any going back, if you wanted to." "I have a mission later on," said Naruto. "So if you don't mind, I have things to do." She grumbled, as he was doing it once again, acting like they were talking about two different things. She sighed. "You know what? Fine. I'll leave you alone for tonight." As she made her way off, Once she was gone, Naruto moved towards the basement of the house. When he arrived, there was a section in there. A whole study. Books were on the wall and the shelves. It was larger than the living room. As there was a table at the desk. As he picked up a file. As he read through it. Afterwards, he placed it back down. He then made his way towards the bathroom. As he got a shower. He then came back out as he got dressed. His clothing consists of a dark, midnight dark black shirt. Nothing on it, no markings, nothing at all. It had long sleeves. He was wearing black shinobi pants and combat boots, as they were well secure and tied to his feet. As he pulled his hair back into a ponytail and tied it as it went down into his back, he then reached for a coat, as he placed it on as it fluttered down below him, as it also had a hoodie on it, as he pulled it over his head, and it was like he was not even there. It was like darkness itself. He made his way towards Itachi and Sasuke, where they were sleeping peacefully. Mikoto would get them ready tomorrow and they would leave. As Naruto glanced towards his room, looking inside, as she was asleep, he closed the door behind him as he made his way. After opening the door, as he locked his front door, as he slipped the key into a seal on his wrist, the other one was inside. As he faded into the darkness, he was gone. It didn't take him too long as he left the village. From there, he headed off, quickly making his way towards his destination. It only took him a couple of hours. His stamina was incredible, as he did not even rest once. After arriving towards his location, he scouted the area. It was a shady looking building, as there was a few people passing by. It was a location of where his mission would go down. As he stood on a nearby roof, watching, as he had binoculars as he watched several individuals enter the room, several businessmen, as they were followed by several bodyguards. They were large. They were big as Akimichi's, but there was not any fat there. There was just raw muscle. He caught sight of one of the men, Akira. Akira had short brown hair, dark eyes, as he was dressed in a rather expensive business suit to show off his wealth, as he was surrounded by guards, some of them being ex-ninjas, some of them being thugs for hired, but most of them were part of the Yakuza because Akira worked directly for the Yakuza gang. The Yakuza was a problem in the Elemental Nation. They used the third Great Shinobi War to boost their products, which mainly includes of drugs and weapons, spreading them through the nations. They caused mayhem, and they enjoyed the mayhem, and the third Great Ninja War brought them so much. With the mayhem caused, they could use it to move their operation through several villages. As they were currently in Land of Fire, they were trying to spread their influence through Land of Fire and reach into Konoha as well, a new drug that he heard about. It was called X. It was said to give the person the quickest high and bring them there for hours. Well, it made you feel like hours, but in reality it was just minutes. And that was the best way. After all, taking it minutes after minutes, you could feel like you were on high for hours. But several people were killed by this. But they didn't care as long as they get paid. Akira was the one pushing this organization. He was not one of the three bosses of the Yakuza. There were three of them. Those men were always underground. But Akira was the one that showed his face and did business. He was cocky, thinking because of his guards he was untouchable. As Naruto's mission was to stop him from selling the drugs in the Fire Nation and spreading it. As Naruto watched as they entered, all of them, he didn't leap. As he concealed his chakra and landed on the roof. As he was melt into the darkness, like he wasn't even there. Meanwhile, inside, "Ah, boys," Akira said, that smile on his face. There were several mainstream drug dealers for land of fire here. As the man, all of them had a smile on their face. Akira, you finally made it. Sorry about that. I had some other business to take care of, but now, I'm all yours. What do you say we talk business? As they all sat down around their own table. Well, Akira, you told us that you have the product. I mean, it's been booming in other economies. We can't wait to get it here in the land of fire. Akira snapped his finger. As a man came over and gave him a suitcase as he placed it down, he opened it. As there was bags upon bags of the little pills inside. Before the drug dealer could reach it though, Akira raised a hand. Come on boys, you know we don't work like that. Of course. I guess I was just getting a bit too jumpy. As the man snapped his finger, as 3 men came inside holding large suitcases. As they opened it, showing all the cash inside. Akira told him to close it. Aren't you gonna check it? The man asks. Why should I? I mean, you wouldn't try to double cross me, right? Of course, the drug dealer said. Why would I ever think of doing something like that? And besides, we're good friends, aren't we, Amaki? The drug dealer, as he was named Amaki, nodded his head as he reached for his suitcase, but one of the Yakuza thugs placed a hand on it, stopping him. Oh, I'm not finished yet, Akira said. I was just saying, you wouldn't try to cross me. Besides, you wouldn't want your whole operation and your family wiped out. The man known as Amaki swallowed thickly. Him and his operation might be a bit powerful, but they had nothing on the Yakuza. It's all there, I promise, he said. I know it is. I'll be sure to keep in touch when you want the next shipment. As Amaki nodded, that is when the place started to get dark. What the hell? Akira looked around. What is this? They were on the lowest floor in the building, as this was a secret room, and there were many guards outside. I assure you, this is not my doing. If you double-cross me, Amaki, I swear, Amaki said, raising his hand, I don't know what is going on here. It was then that he heard something outside. As Akira glanced towards his top guard, the man was large. There was an X on his cheek. His body was physically large, muscles bulging from all areas, as he had brown hair tied back. Go handle it, whatever it is. At once, as the man stepped and kicked the door open. When he arrived outside, all he saw was death and destruction. All the guards that were posted outside was dead. But there were barely little sounds, but however, he ducked as a hand whipped over his head, nearly decapitating him by the force. As his eyes focused on the individual in front of him, not as big as him but at least 6 feet, he raised his large foot as he kicked the individual. The man was thrown hard as he smashed right into the wall, breaking it. I don't know who the hell you are, the Yakuza thug said as he stepped forward, but you're as good as dead, as he grabbed the individual and gripped him by the throat before pulling him out. To his surprise, it was one of his own men. What the hell? His eyes were glazed over. What the hell are you doing? He said. But the man was not responding as he shook him violently, but there was nothing coming from him. You know, you should really watch your surroundings. The man froze as he dropped his frame. Don't worry, you don't need a name when you're dead. He turned as fast as he could, but as he turned, the blade had teared into his throat and torn it open as he started gargling his own blood as he dropped. The large man hit the ground a thud as he dropped dead. Akira had gotten up by this time as all of his remaining guards inside, along with Amaki, step in front of them as they pulled their weapons. Kunais, swords, all sorts of weapons. Kill whoever it is now, Akira said. As someone approached the door, all of the men got ready until a single kunai was thrown inside. With a tag on it, their eyes went wide as the thing went off, but there wasn't an explosion. There was a deafening sound. The sound was so loud that their ears felt like it was gonna burst their eardrums. As someone then came in, Because of the frequency, their eyes were getting a bit diluted, as they could barely see. The person that came in though was so fast that it did not matter. Throats were slit, as kunais pierced into skulls. By the time Akira and Amaki regained their bearings, their people were dead. As they saw the pile of bodies at the door, so they could not exit. As Amaki was shaken. "Who the hell are you?" Akira says. He looked around as a man stepped from the darkness. "Your executioner," he said. "Look, you don't know who I am, but you're making a big mistake. I'm a part of the Yakuza, and if you kill me, you will die. Your parents, your family, everyone that you know will die. You have taken care of all my guards here, so I'm gonna need a few more guards. And given that you were able to wipe them all out by yourself, I think that I could work with you. How about you work for me? I can pay you 10 times what your employer is paying you. So how about it? Work for me, and you won't have to die for this. Thugs can easily be bought, but you, my friend, are a strong ninja. So how about it?" As Amaki stepped back as he tripped over something, Akira glanced towards him. It's him." "Who?" Akira said. As Amaki saw the eyes, those dark red eyes, the man was fearing his life. By now, he was just a dealer that sells drugs for money. And he got wrapped up in a more larger business than his own. And here he was now, he was gonna die, as he knew who this was. He heard the rumors. "You're the Crimson Demon of Konoha, aren't you?" Akira's eyes went wide at that. Wait, what? As Akira realized who he was dealing with, as he stepped back and swallowed thickly, as Naruto finally emerged from the darkness. "It is you. But why are you here?" "What kind of stupid question is that?" said Naruto. "You're running your operations in the Fire Nation, polluting the nation and Konoha. But why would you care about something like that, after the things I've heard that you've done?" "It doesn't matter. I'm here to take your life." "You're making a big mistake. The Yakuza, they won't do shit," said Naruto. "What is the Yakuza compared to me? Let them come. I'll send them all to hell where they belong." As Akira realized that he was not going to escape this one, he heard about this man, and he was afraid. Akira, who was known for doing dangerous, reckless, stupid things, was scared to his wits' end as this man stood in front of him. The fear was real. "Look, I can pay you a lot more than Konoha pays you. I can set you up big time. I don't need your money. All I need is your life." Akira wasn't a fighter or a shinobi, so he turned and ran towards a window to jump right out. As he broke through, as he started to fall, to his surprise he saw there was a futon down there. As he dropped right on the futon, how lucky he was as he picked himself up and ran. He ran for his life as Akira made his way, as he breathed heavily. He turned to see his man. How did they get here? But that didn't matter. "Boys, over here!" As all of them turned towards him. "Sir, we heard that there was something going on." "Yeah, good timing. There's this freak coming after me. Deal with him. Hey you, stay here. I'm getting out of here." As the head man of the group nodded, as he started to transport his boss. It was then that they heard screams, as Akira was pushed away as he watched as the man that he told transport him head got decapitated by nothing. Akira watched as darkness started to seep all around him. What is this?" he said. "You thought you could get away. You should know, you never left." Akira watched as the sky ripped open as hands, demonic hands reached down and gripped his body, and demonic hands came from the ground as he gripped him as well, as they started to tear him in half. Back to the original scene, Akira was standing there. As he was on the ground, his eyes rolled back. As he was placed under Genjutsu the moment, he looked into Naruto's eyes. Amaki was on the ground. As he could not get away, his back pressed up against the wall. As Naruto came over, as he decapitated Akira and sealed his head away. As he then turned his back, Amaki stayed quiet, as he wondered, did he forget about me? As Naruto turned and threw a kunai, it pierced right through Amaki's skull, as his head dropped forward. As Naruto then created 2 clones. You know what to do, he said. And with that he was gone, as the clones did a cleanup job. Time skip. Minato Namikaze, fourth Hokage of Konoha, sat in his office calmly. As it was early in the morning, he had a lot of work to do. As he had left out early, Kushina was still sleeping. As he sat down, as he was going through a few paperwork, there was a lot going on. The war had recently came to a stop not too long ago. It has been a few years, but still, there were still things happening after the war. Small organizations rising up to claim the spoils of war. Minato had made his name in the Third Great Shinobi War against Hidden Stone, but Kumo had decided to intervene, realizing the 2 villages must be weakening themselves. But they had made a big mistake. Minato glanced up as he caught a scroll in his hand, as he looked towards a purse that stood there, as he was barely even seen because of the darkness. It was early in the morning, so there was a bit of darkness in the corner, as he stood there like a ghost. I can presume that everything went well, unless they send another supplier from the Yakuza directly. X will not be sold in the Fire Nation. Good job, said Minato. Would you like another one, or would you like to take some time off to spend some time with Itachi? Minato said a soft smile, as he looked towards Naruto. As Naruto's eyes looked into his, as the both of them just looked at each other for a moment, there was tense silence in the room. The envoys that were there were fidgeting a bit, as it seemed like something would happen between their Hokage and Naruto, as they wouldn't want that to happen, given who they would be up against. They wasn't so sure if they could stop him. You keep on asking me that, said Naruto. Why? I'm just worried about you, said Minato. As Naruto stepped forward a bit into the light, his eyes trained on Minato, as they did not falter or blink one bit. You and everyone else, said Naruto, tiptoeing around me like I'm some kind of baby that you should be cautious around. Well, Naruto, given recent events, as Naruto clenched his fists, I think it's about time that you take some time off. I mean, I don't really want to push you that hard. You've been doing a lot lately. Did I ask for any time off, said Naruto. As Minato got a bit serious. Look, I'm just trying to help. Are you? Are you really? At first, you were all happy to send me out of the village. But now you want me here. Why is that? Did someone ask about me? For you to make sure that I'm okay? To keep me in the village on some kind of leash? Of course not. I'm the Hokage, and it is best within my duty to make sure my shinobis are kept straight and okay. And you're one of my shinobis, or have you forgotten? Said Minato, his tone a bit hardened. As Naruto had this smile on his face that seemed off-putting. It didn't make any sense for him to be smiling now, as Minato kept a straight face as he looked at the man in front of him. No, I have not forgotten, said Naruto. You are the Hokage. But, Hokage-sama, I'm fine. There's no need to worry about me. Are you okay? Said Naruto. Of course I'm okay. How can you be? You slaughtered so many stone ninjas in the Third Great Shinobi War. We both did a lot. So aren't you having troubles as well? I'm not the one that we're talking about right here and right now. We're talking about you, said Minato, as Naruto's smile was still on his face. You refuse to go to therapy. You refuse to speak to anyone about it. And you need to understand that it wasn't your fault. As Naruto kept himself calm as he looked at the man. Yes, I've been told that before. Then why do you consist to go down this path? What path? The self-loathing. The dangerous missions. You accept them without hesitation. I'm just trying to help. Are you now? Said Naruto. Yes, I always have. But you're too focused in the past to notice that. As Naruto laughed a bit, the laughter sounded ominous. As he just looked at Minato. Perhaps I have been taking a lot of dangerous missions lately. But I can assure you, I'm completely fine. As Naruto turned, this isn't a request, Naruto. This is an order. 2 weeks. Rest. Get your mind clear. I've tried to force you to go to therapy in the past, but... well, we both know how that turned out. And I would not like to make you burn your bridges with your friends. Inuichi is still one of your friends. You know that, right? So you won't allow me to go on any other missions? No. Not until 2 weeks are over. I'm surprised. I thought you would have wanted to keep me far away from the village as possible. And why would I do that? We both know why, Minato. You just won't say it. But, as you said, you're the Hokage. And if I were to go against your order, that would be treason, correct? Exactly, said Minato. Now, spend some time off. With your family, Itachi. Your friends, people that care about you. Perhaps you're right, said Naruto. Minato was a bit taken aback at the smile, as he knew that Naruto was not going to listen to him one bit. As he was gone, without another word. As Minato sighed, him and Naruto never really got along one bit. They were not friends. He was his commanding officer, but other than that they were not friends one bit. They never got along in the past because the way they grew up, it was kind of a rivalry, but it was not friendly in any way. Minato was always the best, but Naruto was just different. He was a different person entirely. Minato was a prodigy, but Naruto was just something different. Some were even calling him the second coming of Madara, and that scared many non-Uchihas. Minato at first wanted to keep him out of the village, and Naruto knew why. It was because of Kushina. As Minato knew, everyone knew that both Naruto and Kushina were item before the incident. But Naruto had hurt her badly, and Minato had moved in, and the both of them had become an item, and now they were happy. But despite everything that he's done, she was still worried about him. She was the one that insists that he get this time off. Somehow Mikoto had convinced her to convince Minato about that. And he just wanted to make her happy. And as he looked over the records, Naruto didn't take a time off since the incident. He did not go to the sessions. He downright refused, and he would fight anyone that got in his way. Inuichi didn't want things to get hostile between him and his friends, so Inuichi did not try to probe Naruto's mind, as he maintained his friendship with Naruto the same way. Minato had been upset about that, but Naruto refused to go to any therapy, as he just wanted to be left alone. He blamed himself. The incidents were traumatic to see. He lost two people, two very close people to him in the war, and it changed him. It changed him a lot. And after what he did, they gave him the name. There was many names. The Crimson Demon of Konoha, the Dark Shadow. There was many names that were given to him. Most people just call it what it is: death. When he saw him, that was the thought that came to mind. Minato was upset though. Despite everything that he did, his wife was still worried about him. He figured that there was some feelings, some things that she did not resolve with him there. And Minato didn't like that one bit. So he gave the blonde all missions that he wanted to exit the village at all times. But now things had changed. Now that the war was over and things were settling down, his wife wanted Naruto to be happy. Even after what she was put through by him, he just couldn't understand her. He took a deep breath as he calmed himself. Meanwhile, with Naruto, as Naruto calmly made his way down the street, as the people of Konoha was just rising, several individuals saw him, as many of them looked at him with a calm look. Some of them did not stare too long. Almost everyone in the village knew who he was. Some of them feared him. Even some of the council members were getting worried about the path that he was going down, thinking that he was the second coming of Madara, given his strength and the things that he has done so far. But all he wanted was just to be left alone. After all, it was his fault. He was the reason why they died. He gripped his head as several thoughts flashed into his mind. As he shook his head, clear away the thoughts as he was unfocused, he then heard someone call out his name, Naruto. As he turned, he sighed in annoyance. Why her? But guys, we end episode right here. If you enjoyed this first episode and you want to see part 2, comment down below and tell me what you think, guys, and I'll be posting part 2 as soon as possible. So yeah, I just need your feedback to hear what you guys think about this, and if you enjoyed, well, you already know what to do. Click that red subscribe button and tell me what you think, guys. And yeah, and remember to stay tuned for those stories coming your way over Anime King 2 and Anime King. Yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we get the hell out of here? See you guys soon. Peace.